Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the September Big Canoe Board Work Session. This session is going to be a little bit different. You know, we did something in August, changing some of the committees and roles and responsibilities, and we were going to do a test of having pretty much a board only meeting here. This will probably be a one-time test, and we'll go back to having a standard work session, as there are things that need to be presented by operations a week before a vote, so that we can consider them, like changes to rules and recommendations for audit committee. If you remember last month's work session, we did things a little bit differently also. In preparing for a transition to a new POA board president next year, we asked some of the board members, I asked some of the board members to set the agenda and manage the meeting. And last month, Regis did that. This month, it's Candy. So Candy, I'll turn the meeting over to you. Good luck.
Okay, well, very quickly, I'm going to turn it back to you, Bob, to talk about the renter initiative update.
Okay, whoa, it's like a tennis match, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, in looking at the property owner survey that was done in July, we noticed many comments about renters and dissatisfaction with renters. One of the things we did was start to take a look at what could be done to improve the situation for property owners and for renters. Very shortly, hopefully no later than next week, the first result of that is a letter that the POA will be sending to renters, describing the responsibilities that the POA has and the responsibilities that we do not get involved with. So the letter will state very clearly that a rental transaction is between the renter and the tenant. The POA is not involved in that in any way, shape, or form. And our involvement will be in enforcing any covenants violations. So it's a very straightforward kind of document, and it will set the understanding of what we do and don't do. Second thing is that there is a renter agreement that every renter signs, and there was a suggestion that be strengthened. We're expecting a draft of that any minute now. And when we get that, we expect that there's going to be some strengthening in there, including things like making it very clear that anybody who rents a home has the responsibility to collect state and county taxes. So those are a couple of things that we're doing with the renters. It morphed into, in a meeting that we had, it morphed into a conversation about how do we make access more efficient at our gates. And there is a side work effort going on now. Scott is leading with operations in looking at a quicker way, a more effective, more efficient way of accessing our gates, which would have significant benefits. So that's where we are, Candy. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. Regis, can you give us an update on Creek 9 and
Yes, I'd be happy to do that. I would like to add one comment to what Bob just said. That's basically just that we have been working with representatives of the rental community, representatives of people who own rental properties in Big Canoe, to come up with these, particularly with the revised rules and regulations for renters. So we do have their participation. Now, back to the Creek Nine initiative. I am very, very happy to say that for all intents and purposes, this campaign is over. We certainly will be available to answer questions submitted through Ask the POA, submitted through a meeting like this, or submitted through our website. But there are going to be no more events, no more, we are not anticipating any more communications. We think that pretty much everything that can be said and done has been said and done. The ballots are in the hands of the property owners, and this important decision is in the hands of the property owners as well. Having said that, I would like to acknowledge the team of property owners as well as BJ and Lydell from the golf staff. These were the members of the Creek Nine initiative. In addition to Lydell and BJ, we had Mark Green, Mark Newton, Amy Trofenbaum, Phyllis Godwin, Janet Vandenbark, Dick Hamill, and Dennis Shearer. All of these folks did a lot of work, put a lot of time, personal effort, energy, you name it, into this initiative because they believed it was the right thing for Big Canoe. And I think they did, and this team did a very good job of providing the community with facts, with data, and what I would call informed opinions to really provide the property owners with the information they need to make a decision on this. So with that in mind, I think that pretty much sums up where we're at. I would encourage people to get their votes in. There have been some delays in the mail that people have brought to my attention. And we do want to make sure every vote submitted gets in on time and it is counted. So that's pretty much all I have to say, other than to remind people that we will still answer questions if there are some things that they still would like clarified before they cast their vote. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Regis. Well, I certainly think we have a growing number of property owners that have thoroughly enjoyed the golf course that are non-golfers over these last months, from being able to walk and then the events that have been put on, and in reading over Ask the POA questions, there were some just great comments regarding their enjoyment of being out on the golf course, even though they're not golfers. So.
Terrific.
Andy, can I make a comment regarding the Creek Nine initiative?
Yes.
Okay. There were questions about the ballot information. My message is the ballot information is correct and legal. Our POA attorney played the lead role in developing the words in conjunction with the POA, and they adhere to our governing documents. The bylaws are not changed. A change to the quorum provisions of the bylaws do not require a 2/3 vote by property owners. They could have been changed by a board vote if we had decided we wanted to do that. There was no need to do that. In addition to the inaccurate accusations, the topic is going to be irrelevant if a 35% quorum is attained. We will look at future votes and make the wording easier to understand and less confusing. But the message again is the ballot information is legal. Ballot information is correct. That's it, Candy. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Our next topic of discussion tonight is the CCF work group and master plan update. We had our last meeting on Monday, and as a backdrop to that, because in November of 2019, Lou Stevenson introduced the concept of the master plan in a town hall meeting, and the Chamber's study assembled a list of facilities for improvements over the next 10 years and provided estimated costs in early 2020. as you know, Big Canoe is 48 years old, and I've just looked at a document called The Character of Big Canoe, which was actually authored in 2004 by a former board member to outline the vision of our community. And I would like to read for just a minute or extract some of the key elements of that as we look over our master plan that we will be introducing for or the CCF fee for a vote in the coming months. The character of Big Canoe, a keen appreciation of the preservation of the natural environment and its ecological systems, forms one of the core values uniting Big Canoe's diverse population. A large percentage of land is devoted to green space, and facilities are constructed and maintained to reflect a semi-rustic but high-quality upscale atmosphere in keeping with the mountainous character of the community. Change within Big Canoe is managed with the objective of maintaining the fundamental characters of the community and its environment. And this philosophy of change is in concert with the recognized need to continue to respond to the evolution of the needs and desires of Big Canoe's current and future population. The Long Range Planning Committee took the list of projects originally asked to have Chamber Study look at, and they prioritize these based on safety, maintenance, replacement, and enhancements. This list is continually being evaluated by the Long Range Planning Committee, and these are projects which have been identified over the next 1 to 7 years. These include deferred maintenance projects with the chimneys, potentially relocating the postal facility and obviously constructing a new building, increasing the parking at the lakes and marina, making some enhancements to the clubhouse per meeting the food and beverage operating plan, a new grounds and greens facility, enhancing the wellness center, and other golf course renovations for Choctaw and Cherokee. The CCF work group was formed in May, just as a background, and we met 5 times to review the types of sources that made sense for our community to fund our master plan. We agreed a capital contribution fee was the best alternative compared to borrowing funds or continuing to raise monthly assessments for now. After much deliberation, 6 agreed to the recommended fee of $2,500 to be paid by new property owners, and there was 1 abstention. Several members believe a fee of $5,000 was appropriate, others less than $2,500, but ultimately we agreed to a $2,500 fee for the transfer of property to the new property owner to be paid by that new property owner. Our review included one of our members polling the real estate brokerage community, and so we had good information from, I think, various sources. And key to this is that this is a flat fee to be paid equally by all new property owners. As what is somewhat unique to Big Canoe, all property owners have an equal interest in our common properties, including all of our amenities, and thus we believe this is the most equitable form of creating this fee. In the coming months, a communication program will be created and reviewed with the community so that when a vote does occur, we believe all the information will be available for property owners to make an informed decision. Lou, would you like to move to our next topic, professional collaborative initiative?
Sure. Let's see if Justin can pull up. I just thought I'd add a little color, so I forwarded him just a couple of slides that I crafted.
Oh, great.
Okay, so I just wanted to update everyone on the professional collaborative. After a few months on the board with Bobby Jones Links, and after, of course, a new general manager arrived, the POA board met with Bobby Jones Links and Scott in early August to try to define the ideal governance and management systems, regardless of who was on the board, who was working as general manager, or who was in charge of the professional management of the community. We determined that management by management was the most effective model going forward, with the board of directors focusing on higher level issues, as Candy's talking about, approving budgets and business plans, developing and overseeing changes to policies, rules, and regs, and other important governance issues and key strategies from the 50,000-foot level. And the reason I mention this is just to give you a short history in how the professional collaborative was impacted. We thought with the services that this collaborative might be offering that it would be better housed under the management of the general manager. And while Scott, Whitney, and Gautam saw the promise of this program, I think they later sensed that their energies and at this point probably should be focused on more critical issues. So with this program, there was a bit of a lag of time, but the good point is that a little bit extra time allowed us to do some creative brainstorming, and I think with great results. Go to the next slide. One of them, in partnering with Candy Robertson and Bob Littell, was this great suggestion for a new name, the Registry of Professional Resources, Stronger Together. It also allowed us to craft and implement some new designs. And I really believe from the input from Candace and again from Bob Littell that both Scott and BJL will serve to benefit from the vast untapped professional resources from within the Big Canoe community. Go ahead. I wanted, if anyone is interested in the community, if you're interested, send me an email. If you like one, title better than the other, just let me know. If not, we'll move forward. I kind of like Bob's. Next slide. With this committee, we're going to have members as well as just community volunteers. So you don't have to sign up and sit on a committee unless you want to be part of the initiative. We're also going to offer some really unique opportunities. And again, I thank Bob Littell for these concepts. The most recent updates that we have is that our IT staff are going to be able to build the database to support this registry of both the committee members and the community volunteers. I have been going out pricing software, but lo and behold, our great staff members said that they would be able to build this database so that has no additional costs for external software. They're going to use a web-based user interface where interested property owners can complete the forms online. Next slide. These were the options that Bob offered. You'll see available as needed, so you can just participate with maybe a single project. You might serve in some limited advisory capacity for a particular project. And also at the bottom, you can serve on the committee for designated 3 years in any role that you're interested. Go ahead. These are some of the areas. Now, this is just a small, short overview, but look at the different areas. If your background, interest, expertise, we hope some working business experience or working experience, these are some of the areas we're interested in finding out about and pursuing. Go ahead. This was again the information with the IT services that they're going to build this database with no additional cost. You can fill in the forms if you'd like, and if you can from off the website. And this information you provide us will allow us to move forward with this project. Okay. Again, I just wanted you to decide if one of these, registers better than another. Send me some feedback. We're anxious to get forward. I'm sure that Justin will get this database up and running for us very soon. And we're going to take this ball and run with it down the field. But I want everyone to stay apprised. We look forward. We've already, with some tests that Bob Littell ran, we were just absolutely amazed at the interest and the energy from the professionals in this community. So we're looking forward to some really great results, and I will keep you updated. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Lou. We're on the last topic for this afternoon, and is Ask the POA. I think we have received, as of today, just over 800 Ask the POA questions. They're you can ask these questions, just as a reminder, via two options. One, sending an email or going to our website, logging in, and front and center is ask the POA portal to go in and fill in the information. Personally, the advantage for us to do that is that, well, and actually for everybody in the community, is that you just push buttons in terms of, well, who do I think I need to talk to, whether it's Public Works or Public Safety, and and typing in the topic. So as of yesterday, I believe we had about 28% of those incoming questions or concerns being from the website and the remainder from the email. Right now, Debbie Pickett is in charge of, when the emails come in, she distributes them to the various department managers. So using the website is more efficient, but we're just delighted to have any of the questions coming to us and making sure we're answering them. So we certainly don't want to, whatever your preference is, we certainly want you to use that. There were just a number of questions, and I committed to both Q and A today, and this is a big project. And so I'm recommitting to you that by the end of the month, we'll begin to have frequently asked questions and answers posted to the web. But the questions are very broad, from concerns over when the covered bridge was closed and the solution. And I will say that I looked at quite a few questions and answers, and I'm very pleased to report that our staff is just, I think, amazing at the level of answers that they have provided our property owners over the last 2 months, 2.5 months since this has been instituted. So just a lot of good information, and Debbie and I will be spending, and Scott providing, I can have a little bit of her time here in the next couple of weeks, be providing a fairly robust Q&A going forward. That is all we have for today, and I guess I need a motion, unless anybody has anything to add to what we've just talked about, to conclude the meeting and open it to questions from the property owners.
I give a motion to do that.
Okay.
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, that concludes the business portion of our meeting as it relates to the working session for the board. And will Tim, Justin, open it to questions from the community?
We do have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
We'll post the first here. The second, do you want to put that on the? All right, David Hopkins, lot 4002 asks, I was told the dam inspection results will be released at the annual meeting. Why the long delay? Why not just tell us now? Was the lower drain successfully uncovered, and was the pipe inspected by camera?
Okay. Scott, I think you're still with us, and you, I believe, have been communicating adjacent with the company that's been doing that work.
Hello,
Scott.
I'm back. So the inspection of the lower sluice gate did happen last week. We are waiting for the engineering report to come back on that. That is due in mid-October. And as we talked about before, our engineering company is going to be preparing a multi-year maintenance plan for the dam. And that's what we will review at the annual meeting. I have not seen any formal results of the inspection, so it would be premature for me to speak about that, other than the one comment that from the diver, that there was nothing alarming found in the inspection. So more details to be forthcoming. And as Bob said at the meeting, as soon as we have the report, we will we'll share a summary of that with the community. So look for that as soon as we see it in the following few weeks.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
All right.
And Scott, as I recall, that continues to be a quarterly inspection that we've had done all along. So that's nothing new. That continues to be a quarterly inspection.
The entire dam is inspected on a quarterly basis. This was a special inspection that we requested to have done for the sluice gates, just to make sure that we were covering, leaving no stone left unturned.
Good job.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Couple more questions. Wayne Huey from Lot 2016. I voted yes for the Creek 9 renovation, although I had the following reservation. What seems to remain unknown and not openly addressed is how much for the remaining 18 holes future renovation, and when and how will the board be going back to the community for future funding?
Okay. I will start the discussion, and please, Regis or Bob, you may jump in. There was an estimate or placeholder put out by the Long Range Planning Committee per Bill Bergen's initial review of somewhere around 2.2, 2.1 for the other courses. Again, because that's over $1 million, that would be voted on by the community, just as the Creek 9 has done. There's not been an update. That's not on the drawing board for at least another couple of years. So obviously those budgets will have to be, those costs will have to be revisited at that time.
I'd like to elaborate a little bit on that. First of all, Wayne, thank you very much for your yes vote. As Candace said, when Bill Bergen Golf Designs did come up with an estimate for the Creek 9 rejuvenation, he also estimated $2.1 to $2.3 million, I believe, each for the Choctaw and Cherokee 9. So that would be a total of 4.5 million. Now, as far as when will that come up for a vote, the answer is, as Candace had said, and when she was talking about the Long Range Planning Committee prioritization of projects, I would say at this point, we can say it's safe to say it won't be next year or probably the year after, but it will be done sometime in the next 7 years. At one point, and I think the board and the general management last year had thought that it would be advisable to do one after the other because there might be some economies of scale in there. You might get some pricing advantages. This board and this management is not of that opinion. We think there's other things in the community that need to have a priority over and above the other two 9s. And quite frankly, there's been a lot of I personally feel that the rejuvenation of the Creek 9 is going to do a lot to drive the improved financial performance of that golf amenity. And I think we really need to see and make sure that that pans out, that those expectations are realized before we go out and commit to spending significant amounts of our community's resources on the other two 9 holes. So hopefully that will answer the question. And again, thank you for your positive vote.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and now we have 2 more questions remaining. William Shaw from Lot 404. Regis, could you be specific about the owner-renter groups you've been working with?
Well,
Is-
there's basically 4 representatives. There's 2 companies that do rentals. They are rental management companies. There is another individual who is responsible for, it's kind of a loose coalition of people that own property in Big Canoe and rent it, but aren't necessarily affiliated with a property management company. And I guess the other one, Bob or Candace from the timeshares or
I think it was Airbnb, so I don't know whether that was
It
time.
was the management representative for Pettit Crest Villas was in their last meeting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, okay. And Bill, I don't want to get into details with naming names. You can, you can identify pretty readily who the two major property management companies are. I just think it's important to know that we are working with the representatives of the rental property companies. We see them as part of the solution, not part of the problem. They recognize, we have certainly informed them of the results of the property owner survey, that we need to do something to address some of the issues that have been raised, and they've been very cooperative working with us.
Tim, do you want me to read the question?
I didn't have my mic on. Eric Cole.
Oh, okay.
5515. What inputs from existing property owners are being used in this initiative besides the satisfaction survey? How can affected property owners express specific concerns and influence the policy?
And I guess that relates to the rental property initiative.
Is that, yeah, I wasn't clear.
Bob, do you want to answer that question, or Candy?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. We have gotten input, as you said, from the satisfaction survey. We've gotten input from emails and personal meetings with concerned property owners. And we've gotten significant input from a leadership Big Canoe project that was done a couple of years ago. Those are the main sources of input.
So as far as how property owners can provide additional input, that would be, I guess, ask the POA would be the best way.
Yeah, yes.
All right, those are all the questions from the audience. We thank you for your answers.
Okay.
We
Well,
thank the property owners for their questions.
yes, thank you. I believe this concludes our working session for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Till later.
Okay.